All right. So here's our assignment for today on the surface area of cylinders, and it's going to be similar to what we talked about yesterday with prisms, but instead of squares or rectangles or triangles, we have a circle that we have to find the areas of, and I'm going to draw the net of a cylinder on this side. And so a cylinder, if you remember, its net is composed of a rectangle and then two circles that would be congruent to each other. So what ends up happening is this is the height of the cylinder. So when I draw the cylinder kind of in three-dimensional form here, this is the height of the cylinder. This width of the rectangle is actually the circumference. So you have to find the circumference of a circle. So the circumference is equal to pi times the diameter of the circle. So you need to find the diameter of the circle. The diameter goes all the way through the center. And so the center ends up being the width here. So this is the width, but it actually is equal to the circumference. And so we have to find the area of the circle, and the area of the circle is pi r squared, where r is the radius, half of the diameter. So we have to find the area of a circle using pi r squared, and then times that by 2. Okay, so we can actually times this all by 2, and then we have to add the area of the rectangle, this lateral area, to get the entire surface area. Okay, so that's the formula that we're going to be using. So over here on this side, if all these are going to be very similar to each other, you just have to recognize whether they give you the diameter or the radius, and remembering what the difference is between those two. So let's start on number 1, and what that is how we're going to solve that. Notice that they give us the radius here of 8 inches, and so I can plug this in to find the area of this circle and then also of this circle right here. And I'm going to do that by doing my area formula, which is going to be pi r squared, and my r is 8. Okay, and then I'm also multiplying this all by 2 because I've got 2 of these circles that are exactly the same. So I'm going to bring my calculator over here and multiply pi times 8 squared times by 2, and I get 402.12. Alright, so I'm going to set this equal to 402 we'll say 12. It says round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. And then I need to find the area of this rectangle. So I know the height is 10 inches, but it's 10 times what to find the area? And that width is going to be the circumference. So I also need to find what the circumference is of this circle, and the circumference is pi times the diameter. The radius is 8 inches, so that means the diameter is 16 inches. So I'm going to be multiplying that times pi to find the circumference. So 16 times pi, and I get 50.26. I'm going to round up to 50.27. So C equals 50.27, and that is my width. So I have to multiply 10 times 50.27, and that ends up being 502.7. So I'm going to add these totals up, the 402.12 and the 502.7, and I get 904.82. And since we're dealing in inches, it's going to be inches squared. Okay, each of these are going to be really close to that. Sometimes they're going to give you the diameter, sometimes they're just going to give you the radius like we did in number 1. But what I'd like you guys to do is to practice on the right side here, 2, 4, 6, and 8. And try your hand at those 4. Try to feel confident about finding the surface area of cylinders.